I mean, at the first, it wasn't like a goal.
Okay.
It was just that there was no job already existing to do what I wanted to do or was able to do. You know, I started teaching because I was learning this stuff, and then people wanted me to teach them.
Right.
And I was like, all right, I guess I can do that, you know. And then I got close. I got these relationships going with clients and friends and colleagues and mentors, you know. And it was really, a lot of it was the relationships that led, you know, one step to the other, and pretty soon it was a job, and then it was a full-time job, you know, and then. I call my work movement education.
Okay.
And my company actually is about movement arts education and research, which are kind of just different facets of the whole thing. I thought, you know, what I really like about dance is actually not the concert performance stuff. I like that, but that's not really my forte. What I really like is just movement in all its form. Human movement, even just, you know, the movement of the seasons, the movement of plants, you know, the movement of atoms and molecules, and all of that. And I also really like taking class. More than rehearsing, more than performing, I like to take class. And I was like, how am I going to make a career out of taking class? But it was 2009 when I decided that I needed to take some bigger steps. I needed to grow an organization to support where I saw things going. Not just my own creative work and my own teaching work, but my colleagues and my students and even some of my teachers. I sort of looked at what was missing in the community, and my small community, and there was sort of there were a lot of people sort of reinventing the wheel, you know, going after the same things independently, and it was like, well, if we can create a company, an organization, we can kind of synergize a lot better. And so that's when I ended up, and then the other side of it is that all this time I had worked for a company, and I had some experience with management and program development, and it was sort of in the educational sector and for-profit education. So I had some experience with the business aspect of it. Certainly not enough. There's so much always to learn, but I had a sense of it, and I had a perspective about it. Well, the high point is just getting to do what I love. You know, I feel like the blade of grass in the planted on the right patch of earth. You know, I see that people get better, they feel better, they have fun, and then they feed back to me. You know, and I see this like amazing community. I love it when groups of my clients get together, and there's just this personality to the group. You feel like, okay, these people they have something in common, and it's something special, and it's something that's hard to get out in the world. You know, it's like it's really so I would say those are, in general, the two biggest things are just enjoying the work and feeling like I'm living up to my potential, so to speak, and then getting to sort of like participate in this community.
Well, when I was 10 years old, I got my first paint set. And I dabbled here and I dabbled there, and just as I was growing up. As I got older, it just grew stronger. My whole life I've been involved with things that had to do with art and design. I had a florist for many years. I was an interior decorator for many years. And now I'm really fulfilling my dream. Well, my technique is very free. Basically what I do is I have a concept, a vague concept of what I want to do and a feeling that I want to do in my head, and I start painting from the background. I start putting paint, and I just keep developing the paint to where it starts to look the way I'm feeling.
Okay.
I like to paint movement and feeling,
Okay.
and play with light. On from as little as $100. The average piece is like $300 and $400, and the most expensive painting I ever got, which was a huge one, and that was quite a while ago, was for $2,500.
Okay, great. Is there anything that you haven't painted yet, or any subject you haven't painted that you're itching to paint in the future?
Not really. It's just I paint every kind of subject. I just keep trying to develop what I'm doing. Add one of the pieces in the Delaware show. It's a water lily painting, but I did it with a little bit more abstract feeling. So try to combine my impressionism with some abstract, and just trying to play with things like that to come up with things that are new, but yet still in my own form.
Okay, great. And who do you think, other than yourself, who do you think are the top 3 most influential artists in Columbus right now?
There are several. I don't really know them that well, but
Sure.
Name Orwell is the one that pops up all the time. You see his name
Orwell.
in many places, and
Okay.
one that maybe not one of the top, but his work is very interesting, and I see it all over, would be Arlo Moon. What's next is I'm expanding my work into more textural work, again combining the different types of things that I'm doing, and working on a new series which I'm getting a lot of positive feedback on. It's called, which is, those are 2 of the pieces up there. It's Ladies of Society. As a child, I grew up not far from Southampton, and I worked with a lot of very wealthy people in the interior decorating. And Ladies of Society is a classical satire on society.
Okay.
Exaggerated figures, exaggerated clothing, and it seems to be getting a lot of attention.
Folks who are on the edge of belief are the ones that we're really sort of catering to, I think, to some extent. We cater to both audiences, but when I can take somebody who's thinking, I want to quit my mainline job and go and build a business, that's the person I'd love to enable. The second time, third entrepreneur doesn't necessarily need me, doesn't need my pitch to really inspire them. It's the person who's thinking, should I, take this set of cash and buy riding lawnmower, or should I go and try this big idea? And I'm like, yeah, we could go build that. We can build something for that. Pickup Startup is basically a community-run entrepreneurial pitch event, essentially. We started in 2000, I guess early 2012 was where we started it. And we're done 21, we're coming up on the 21st event here in July. Essentially, it was a need we need more open forum pitch events. We want to get more opportunities for people to basically come, and if they are working on a startup, get your 5 minutes, present your startup, and then get 5 minutes of Q&A from an audience. And the mix is generally, it's usually 2 community, 1 student, and 1 OSU related startup. Since OSU is sort of working on a new startup initiative. This is the formation of the Technology Commercialization Office, which is our first really sort of, basically stepped up and said, yeah, let's do this event, I'll give you the space, just, do it. People pitch and get funded. Okay. So that's been great. It's always great to see someone pitch. And then, a couple months later, as they make connections at the event, You find out they got some funding, or they made some connections, or they got one step closer to a designer or a developer, which has been great. Or just recently we've had one that pitched actually probably 9 months ago, and they just licensed the technology from the university.
Wow.
And spun it out. So that's great. I mean, there's probably been 2 pitches actually that have been licensed out of the university, which is really huge for us. We love to see that, and that just means that it's working. You know, it's like the slow snowball. I mean, it's not always super fast,
right?
Just because we live in the Midwest, but what it does when people do believe, when you get the right players at the table, and they see the potential, and the ecosystem's there to sort of support them, and obviously the product can do what it can do, and there's a market need for it. It's like everything works, and we're just as good as the Valley in that sense. And we're always
of really good pitches that you've seen.
Elements of really great pitches are not a ton of words, but some words, right? And not all imagery.
Okay.
And it's usually, I tell the students and the faculty and staff that I work with, you know, pitching is all, to me, it's a confidence game. So you have to get up there and put down the notes and basically speak from the heart of the passion of what you're working on, and convince people in 5 minutes that you're a bet that they shouldn't miss out on. That's it. Like, I'm gonna go do this, and it's gonna be freaking amazing. And if you're not part of me, you're idiots. You should join me. And people want that. People are hungry for that sort of kind of pitch, and you want to see really attractive folks who are building something brand new that you could be a part of before it becomes so big. And it's like, you know, Huntington Bank pitching, and you know, you can't get in that. You know, nothing against Huntington Bank, obviously, great. But what I'm saying is that the company is established, it's done, it's already successful. There's something about being really close to folks who are about to jump over this massive, you know, gap, who are going to make it, and you get the sense they're going to make it. You want to join them on that, right? Whether or not you're just helping them or mentoring or you're investing in them, you just want to be a part of that. So, comprehensive ask. Your ask isn't, you're not asking for $400 million, and you're not asking for $7. Sometimes it'd be great if I would dare people to ask for, you know, less than $1,000, just cause. You get more reactions. More reactions means you're more memorable, in my opinion. You know what I mean? When you ask for 50 grand, everyone in the audience doesn't have 50 grand on them, they just kind of nod. And there might be one investor or 2 investors that could pony that up, but we had a student one time, he said his ask was basically $1,500. And people were like, "I'll write you that check here." You know, it was great because the kid got like the check, and it was a great pitch to boot. So it was like it's like that casual sort of humble ask that was tangible. It wasn't completely lost or whatnot. Those were great, which is exciting because now we're sort of creating this movement, which is what it really was all about. Was just let's just go do this. No one's doing this. We want to do this. We know there's other people like us that want to do this. When you communicate, your deck really communicates the fact that you don't understand how the system makes money. Those are the ones that, to me, really hurt. You have a good technology idea, but you have no idea necessarily how to how it works, how it gets. You made this dessert, but you don't know who would pay for it. You know, you don't know that side of the story. When that comes across in the 5 minutes, you really get kind of you don't really get downplayed, but you feel it. And you know it in your gut that you really shouldn't be up there just yet because you don't know how it works. Now, I've been in that instance many times when I built something and I have no idea how it pays for itself yet. But I think people can talk about money in 2 ways. You can either talk about it in data, or you can think about it in pure sort of financial pieces. If you build a system that captures a lot of data, then that data could be useful to, say, a Yelp or a Google or something like that. That's okay to do as long as you really convince me that there's some data, you know, coolness there. That's the currency that I want. If it's a financial piece, you have to tell me, you know, who buys it and why they buy it and why they buy yours and not versus the others. And of course, there's always a feeling, I think, from entrepreneurs, especially first-time entrepreneurs, that they have to be completely unique. Like they can't have they don't want a competitor, because then they won't take the idea, which is really a mistake in my opinion. You actually want known competitors in the space because they have known business models that are working, and you should be working on business models that are similar to them. Maybe the product's not similar, but you should be in that same space. You know, you don't want to be so completely alien and brand new that no one can really identify with you. That's not a good place to be. So $1 million, no one in Columbus can help you right now. No one can. Really, no one can help you in Columbus. I mean, I think that's something that people are like, oh no, someone can help you. No, no one will help you if you need $1 million. Because if you need $1 million, you know, how did you get this far, for one, and not actually go through the ecosystem of support? Two, you know, if you need $1 million and you still don't understand the payer situation, who pays for it, you're dead. You're not going to get any support. You have to go out to the valley, in which case you may get money out there, just because they invest crazier than we do. But, you know, in Columbus, you know, the beginning rounds start at 200 grand, they start at 300 grand, and that's through vigorous, I mean, really rigorous sort of attention to detail on how you understand that business. So if you ask for $1 million and you don't know how your product actually makes $1 million, and you say 6 months or a year, you're dead. You're never